Our world is soaring toward 2012. Time is speeding up. Chaos is shifting into a new level, and we feel the pull to unlock the mysteries of the universe. Timeless spiritual wisdom offers the point of stability to navigate these times and to open our greatest potential. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the fun and knowledge of visionary best-selling authors Sri and Kira as they explore these mysteries and invite your higher love to come forward. And now, here are Sri and Kira.
Namaste. I am wisdom teacher Sri Ramkar.
And I am Kira Ra. Welcome, beloved ones, to 2012 Higher Love. And you know, we are exploring the fact that, let's face it, fear is here. Yet, when we recognize fear is here, it means that we've moved into this survival mode of surviving the planetary thought body. And we're here to talk to you a lot about the planetary thought body and why fear is here, and actually, Sri, how this can be a good thing. Or can it? Am I delusional?
Well, let's define what a good thing might be.
Okay, let's do that.
So everybody has had the experience of fear. It seems to come with being alive, being awake.
Yeah.
You know, and I would say for all of us, let's just let go for a second and go back to childhood.
I don't want to.
Well, then let's do this abstractly.
No, it's cool, it's cool.
What happens when that baby is born?
Yeah, true.
What happens?
True, good point.
You know, in the old days, it was a slap on the butt.
Yeah, welcome to the world, hello.
Welcome to the world, here's a cold shock.
Right.
And the baby would cry. Now, of course, the reason was they wanted the lungs to work. But nonetheless, it was that abrupt sense of separation and discomfort that actually imprints the psychology of a human being. And if it's not the slap on the butt, it's later on when they get cold or hungry or tired and they recognize something has changed. I've separated from union.
Well, you know, I've got to say, when you say cold, hungry, tired, something has changed, I immediately thought of our planet. No, I really did.
Yeah.
We are cold, we are hungry, we are tired, and something has changed.
Something has changed.
Yeah.
And let's take a look at that. So you got the one little picture. Fear is instinctive. It came in when you were born.
Right.
Now, how much you live there is a different thing.
Well, and the reality is that, you know, as we told you at the beginning of the show, fear is here. But yet there is this planetary thought body, and we're going to talk a lot about what is this planetary thought body, how do you participate in the planetary thought body, and quite frankly, can you get out of it? Because the reality is, we're all on this planet, or at least I think most of us listening to this video are on this planet.
Or closely nearby.
Yeah, hopefully.
So the planetary thought body is a catchphrase that you may not be familiar with. What we're referring to is actually a body of thoughts that encircle our planet.
Now, I want you to think about this. Okay, we're going to talk about this as energy, right? And, you know, many physicists have been theorizing about this energy and about the way the energy works, but I think most of you by now probably accept a Carillion photograph, you know, the famous one about how the frog's legs cut off, but yet the energy of the leg is still there, or the leaf that's cut in half and they take a picture of it and the whole energy of the leaf is still there. Well, with the planetary thought body, imagine for a moment, you know, Sri, I've got a great example. You've just walked into a room, right? You're feeling great. And you walk into the room, and for no apparent reason, you start feeling kind of different.
Yeah, you start now like, ooh,
yeah,
there's something icky
or uncomfortable,
here.
Right?
Yeah,
you walked in, you're like, what's up? What's up? You don't have to be intuitive to have that experience. What you are doing in that moment is you're interacting with energy. You're interacting with sloughed off energy. Every time you have an interaction with someone, every time we speak to each other, every time we have interactions, we are discharging energy. And that's not woo-woo, that's reality. This planetary thought body that Sri's talking about, and you know, if you haven't watched our video on the collapse of the fourth dimension, go watch it, because the planetary thought body has gotten even more goopier, more thick, because it's been condensed. You know, it's like that little can of Campbell's soup. It's really condensed. And it is. And we've been sloughing this energy, yet we have been unable to look at it. And so when that much sloughed energy binds together, it creates this planetary thought body, which none of us is immune from contributing to.
So consider for a moment when you're angry and you have an outburst, meaning a projection of energy.
You know, like that explosive, think about that.
Where does it go? Where does it go?
And how does your body feel afterwards? Because that's another absolute valuable indicator of the validity of this. This is not a woo-woo concept.
And so when we express an emotion, that energy is set in motion. It's a wave of energy that's expressed outward into the universe.
Exactly.
Now, Einstein and others have told us that that energy is forever.
Well, we are light.
That energy is durable.
Right. Well, if we accept ourselves as beings of light, which we do, and I'm sure most of you listening are, and those of you that aren't are going, whatever. But the reality is, from a scientific point of view, what does light do? It expands, and it infinitely expands. It just keeps going. So this is where Einstein was talking about.
Yeah, and so this energy is, you might say it's durable.
Mm-hmm.
It could actually be recycled and transmuted and changed, but for right now, just to understand. So
now wait, I got to put in a caveat. Footnote, transmuted, cycled, and changed. Go to ShriAndKira.com, go to our practices, and check out the container practice, which actually teaches you how to do that.
So what we're wanting to get across today is for you to consider is that every emotion, every thought generates energy. Now, when a thought is projected out into the world, it's pretty etheric,
mm-hmm.
It's pretty whimsical until other people have the same thought. And when you have a fear-based thought, such as the enemy is coming, well, insert picture for enemy. You know, back in World War II, they used to use these posters of what a Nazi looked like, why we were at war with Germany.
Yeah, you know, but now we even have, like, I was thinking the internal enemy. You know, like we have this generic terrorist enemy, right, that's out there right now, or the others.
Well, we're using the face of Islam to project on
We're not. Humanity is.
Humanity is, yeah, we meaning North Americans. However, the point I want you to understand is that as energy is projected toward a thought, it gains in attractiveness.
Indeed.
It gains in magnetism.
Yeah.
It becomes real, so to speak.
Yeah.
As real as a hologram can get. And so this thought body that we want you to consider is like the Earth's stratosphere. It's a collection of thoughts that completely surround the Earth, and due to the magnetic field of the Earth and due to the nature of density, the fact that we're in the third dimension here with form, we have form, our thoughts have form and content, you know, even a thought, which you think is an abstraction, actually has a form.
Now, but here's the key. So because of this planetary thought body, we can't complain about it because we have created it.
And it's there.
Exactly. And every time we complain, every time we whine, every time we moan, we're actually feeding it. It's like this hungry animal that's saying, feed me. And because it is the sum total of every single life form on the planet, of this sloughed energy, if fear is here, it's because it's the predominant energy that is being fed into the planetary thought form. Now take that in for a moment. I mean, really, take that in.
We're generating
Absolutely.
it, we're maintaining it,
Whew.
we're sustaining it, and we're expanding it.
You know what? Take a breath. Just take a breath. Because really, Shri, that's a lot of information.
It is.
It is. For me, even like right now, I'm feeling my heart and I'm feeling my own sense of breath getting shallow talking about this. Because the reality is that we are conditioned to talk about it. We are conditioned to be really frenetic about searching it. We're conditioned to watch sound bites that tell us, to be afraid. We're conditioned to pay attention to things, to get the news. Even what we're offering you right now, our invitation to you is to recognize that when we spiritually mature, and the work of self-ascension is about spiritually maturing. When we spiritually mature, we become responsible. And if you want to learn more about that, Shri and I even have a free ebook. And our free ebook is called What is Self-Ascension? It's a free ebook, no strings attached. Go to ShriAndKira.com. Right there you'll see Claim Your Free ebook. Get the free ebook. Read about it. Because as we become spiritually mature, as we allow ourselves to become spiritually mature, we start recognizing our individual power. And we are so powerful, the collective we, that we have created a planetary thought body that's got some pretty, I mean, you talk about kahuna fear.
It's got some heaviness, some, let's just say the shadow lives there.
And it's not that everything else isn't in it.
Well, before we get any further, I want to say to you, there is a way out.
Yeah, well, totally.
Okay, we're gonna,
and that's the whole second half of the show. So don't sit there and go, oh my God.
Don't collapse. It's just important, like, to understand the map, map of the territory. And so this planetary thought body exists due to the attractiveness of the gravity, the stickiness or the friction of fear-based thinking. Fear-based thinking is a heavier, more dense way of being.
You know, I'm even losing my breath as we talk about it again. And think about it. When you're with a group of friends, even if you're fascinated by the conversation, but you're all talking about imminent collapse of the economy, imminent collapse, or what's going to happen in the political elections worldwide. Is the euro going to collapse? What's going to happen in Egypt? What's going to happen in France? What's happening in Greece? What's happening in the United States? What's happening all over the world? After that conversation...
How do you feel?
Exactly. Even though the brain, right, because the brain, the egoic part of the brain is being satiated. It's saying, feed me, I am the hungry animal. Because that part of your brain is what's attached to the planetary thought body. The planetary thought body has no heart. Now, that doesn't mean that we as humanity do not have a heart. The planetary thought body is just that. It's like a computer.
Well,
it's a brain of its own that has no underlying principle other than to feed itself and sustain its own energy.
So consider it like an atmosphere.
Exactly.
If you take a look at the Earth from space, you'll see a very thin layer called the stratosphere, you know, of the air.
Fragile little layer.
The planetary thought body is very much like that. It's a layer of energy that surrounds the Earth that is sustained and maintained through separation consciousness, through fear-based thoughts. And because we're here, we're literally breathing it. It's like those thoughts, those energies of discord enter us until we become conscious. And then we have something to say about it.
Well, and see, that's the key about becoming spiritually mature. And this is why I'm so excited about the second half of the show, because as we learn and can recognize that there is a planetary thought body, the first thing is not to beat up yourself that you're part of it, to actually celebrate that you're aware of it and of your contribution of it. Because once we're aware of our contribution, that is when we can do something about it.
Yep.
You know, the reality is, Shri, fear is here.
Fear is here.
And it's not going anywhere, guys. If you think you can get rid of it, then all you're going to do, you know, it's like that old head against the wall. It's going to hurt really bad. What you can do, though, and as Shri mentioned earlier, there is a way through this. You honestly can break free of the fear, live in this world right now abundantly, productively, joyfully. However, it takes serious attention. It takes focus and it takes commitment to get and pop through that planetary thought body. And I'm excited because we are so close to talking to you about that. So I want you guys to take another deep breath. Woo! Relax just a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are diving into it.
Namaste. I am wisdom teacher Sri Ram Ka. Are you noticing that life is speeding up? Are you experiencing changes in perception, interrupted sleep patterns, headaches, and shifts in personal relationships? Chances are you are having a spiritual experience, not a medical problem. We call these experiences AAEs, or Ascension Acceleration Energy Experiences. These are signs that your vibrational rate is accelerating. You can learn more about AAEs and how to reorient yourself to the energy of these transformational times by visiting our website, www.selfascension.com. That's www.selfascension.com. As a nonprofit organization, we offer classes and teachings to support your journey. Visit the appearances page at our website, www.selfascension.com. Blessings on your path.
Welcome back. We're delighted to be with you today, and we're talking about the planetary thought body.
Because fear is here, and you know what? You came back to be with us. We are so excited. You know, when we left you at the first half of the show, we were really hoping that you were getting that opportunity to pay attention to what is the planetary thought body and your contribution to it, and to not judge yourself around your contribution to it.
I want to jump in right there, because the number one thing that I've seen happen is that when people sincerely want to heal, they want to live a life of love and meaning and purpose. They want to empower their hearts. And when they slip, when something happens and they get frightened or angry, they beat themselves up.
Yeah.
They become self-critical and self-judgmental. And the key thing here is to remember that we're actually inhaling this energy of fear.
Yeah.
And if you have a lapse of attention, you will likely have a little bit of fear experience inside. So have mercy. Have mercy on yourselves. You're doing it perfectly because you catch yourself.
Well, you know, in a world that's trying to tell you to be afraid right now, and in a world where, you know, fear is almost celebrated. You know, you look at, I mean, I have to admit, I think the whole Homeland Security thing about, you know, see something, say something, really says be afraid.
Well, that's what we're doing right now.
Well, is it strange?
Yeah, we're seeing that there is a way through.
Okay, because I wasn't in that connotation, and that's cool. So the reality is that when we're in a world that says spy on your neighbor, when you take that seriously, how many of you, and you don't have to raise your hands, but how many of you, just because of the way that you had this fear body belted into you, are getting on that plane looking at everybody? You know, now think about it. I want you to be honest with yourself. Or how many of you are out somewhere in public and you're looking around, or you're not sure, or you have that head over your shoulder? That type of energy feeds the planetary thought body as much as the spoken word. And so when we allow the sum total of the planetary thought body, which we do all contribute to, but when we allow the sum total of the planetary thought body to control everything that we say or do, we are controlled. Yeah. We are no longer free. And so if you want to be free, do you want to be free? I mean, if you really want to claim your freedom, you've got to break through your fear. Fear is the ultimate trap, right? And what's the ultimate trap? Fear of death. That's a whole other show about how fear of death is the blessing of religion. And so the key is, if you want to break free, you must break free through the fear. You cannot ignore it. You can't put your head in the sand. What you can do is spiritually wake up, mature, and recognize what's in front of you.
So let's talk a little bit about the steps involved to anchor that freedom, that maturity. The first thing is to recognize is you can never be free from fear, but you can be free to love, free to experience joy, free to experience oneness.
Now, how do you do that? Because you're saying, okay, Sri, yeah, la, 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 that sounds great, but how do I do that? And that's what we're going to share with you right now. Because the reality is, right above, literally very similar to the way we described this fourth dimensional collapse, because this ties together. The planetary thought body is aligned with the third dimensional experience. Third dimensional experience is this, you know, it's bodies, it's goopy stuff, it's the world we're in.
Informed.
You know, it's density informed. But this fourth dimensional energy that's kind of collapsed down onto the third, which has made the planetary thought body kind of this crushing piece of our mind. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, the planetary thought body is 100% ego-brain based. It does not have a heart, so it is a self-perpetuating energy that will never stop. So you cannot play in it. You have to lift through it. You have to break free through it. And right on the other side of that is the universal thought body. The universal thought body is infinitely wise, infinitely uplifting, infinitely joy-filled, because the universal thought body is heart. It has zero attraction, zero concern for your mind. Your mind is the third dimensional playground, but once you pop through that playground into the universal wisdom, there is no need for the creative mind of the third dimension, because you're in direct communion with the universal limitless mind. Whew! Did we just blow your mind?
I hope so. Because that state of recognition, the understanding that a cosmic thought or this cosmic mind is anchored in the perennial truth of oneness. That's the energy of love.
Exactly.
That's the energy of non-resistance. That's the energy of peace. So when I said earlier, you cannot be free from fear, I was playing with you. As long as you try to be free from something, you're watching the very thing you want to be free from, and it's always in your attention.
Exactly.
So instead, we need to be free to experience our love, or the divine thought. The divine thought is the thought that recognizes beauty, the thought that looks out into the world and sees ecstasy, the pastel, the interaction, the harmony, the aromas, the colors, the beauty of union and creation.
Right.
That's a divine thought. And it goes right through the planetary thought body, and it connects you, the thinker, to union.
I love
Oneness.
that. I love that, because every time we give ourselves the gift, and it really is a gift, of taking a moment, slowing down, taking in a deep breath, and recognizing, wait a minute, what is really controlling me right now? Remember, fear controls. Fear controls. If you are afraid of anything, whatever that in that moment it is, in that moment, the truth of who you are is not in control. The illusion that you are is in control. Fear cannot simultaneously exist in the presence of true divine wisdom. The two cannot exist together. And so when you find yourself in fear, one of the first things you can do is just stop and allow the gift of the fear to be the recognition that you have disconnected from your truth. If you are afraid, it is because an outer force is shifting you. An outer force is propelling you to either make a decision or take an action or do something that is so out of balance with the truth of who you are that it's causing this inner turmoil. And so the good thing about fear, and it really is a good thing, is that it's showing you where you're out of balance.
So fear offers clarity.
Exactly.
Consider
exactly.
That's a wonderful gift. The moment you catch yourself experiencing this energy of fear, it's a call to clarity. It's a call to take a breath. Okay, what am I thinking that corresponds with this feeling? Because that thought is distorted. That thought is not based in perennial truth. It's based in a limited point of view.
You know, let me just give you a quick little example of how fear can be helpful when we recognize what it is. So you're walking down the street and suddenly you decide to cross the street. And this is a really busy street, right? So you've been walking down the street, la, 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 this is my life, I'm walking down the street, and suddenly you're going to make a turn. Right? And that turn could be a new job, new career, new relationship, whatever. But it's like crossing a highway. Well, the first thing you might feel is fear because, oh my God, there's a lot of traffic. Right? And you're like, whoa, I'm afraid. I don't know
if I can navigate
I don't want to walk out into
right.
that traffic. So the blessing of the fear was that it gave you an opportunity to stop, pay attention of what you're doing rather than just plow right out to it. So you stay and you look at the fear and go, okay, well, I see. I'm afraid because there's a tractor trailer coming. And so I need to take a moment and wait for that tractor trailer to pass me by. Well, what did the fear do? It was offering you a moment of, let's just say, second consideration, a moment to pay attention, a moment to keep you safe. The key is not to become obsessed with the fear, to look at what the fear is giving you. And so if you're getting ready to do something, if you have a big decision in front of you and you're afraid, first of all, stop. Stop. What you're really doing is giving yourself the gift, if you take advantage of that, of separating from the planetary thought body. You must separate from the planetary thought body to make a universal decision that will serve the highest good for yourself and for all of humanity. Because when we're able to stay up in the universal thought body, we no longer feed the animal of the planetary thought body, and our personal sloughing, because remember, if you're on this planet, you're sloughing, is no longer a part of the problem.
You know, one time some years ago I was camping in Africa, and that was very exciting. And I was walking back to my tent. I had to walk through the woods a little bit on a pathway from the beach over to where the campground was. And as I'm walking in the twilight, I saw this huge snake in the trail. Okay, so here, you know, I'm related to this. All of a sudden, and I stopped, and there was the snake. And I don't know what to do. And I held still. Well, I was frozen.
Yeah, I'd be too.
And then as my eyes adjusted, as I put all my attention there, I realized the snake wasn't moving either. And as I looked a little closer, I realized it wasn't a snake. It was a crooked stick. I saw a stick on the ground, and it frightened me to death. So this is an example of when we're focused on density, when we're focused on the world, false evidence does appear real.
True.
You know, and the fear becomes an everyday occurrence saying, pay attention. Now, how do we lift out of that cause-effect relationship? We must bring in the divine thought. We must lift our vibratory level so that we're more automatically tuned into the cosmos as opposed to the earth-based cause-effect reactivity.
Yeah.
Because in this world of duality, you're going to have fear. It's just part of it.
And that is the most important piece here, is to recognize that, look guys, if you really think that fear is going to go away, it's not. Fear is here to stay in the third dimension. I wish I could tell you that it wasn't, but it is. And it's here to stay for quite a while because the majority of the planetary thought body is enjoying this energy, and it's magnetizing.
It's a weird, kind of a tragic enjoyment.
And the reality is that it's like anything. You know, once you get used to it, even if it's annoying, once you become used to it, it becomes comfortable because it's familiar. Fear has become familiar. So the only way that you can really break free and offer yourself the gift of having a life free to be is to lift through the planetary thought body, recognize and acknowledge the planetary thought body, and as often as possible, try to break through and go into the universal thought body for your decision-making process, for the conversations you have with your friends. Offer yourself the gift. It really is as simple as giving it your attention. See, the planetary thought body doesn't need your attention because it's an animal being fed on a subconscious release of energy. The universal thought body is a limitless field of divine harmony that we cannot access without conscious attention. So the more you bring your conscious attention to it, the easier it will be to let it be your day-to-day experience.
And speaking of day-to-day, here's the tip we hope you'll take to heart. When you wake up in the morning, the very first moment you wake up in the morning, pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to that felt experience when you become conscious again. Because remember, you've been asleep. You've been traveling in your dream world and wherever you might have gone. And when you come back and you wake up, do you immediately move into an anxiety? Or are your thoughts a little bit more oriented toward beauty and harmony? Look for that. Because if you're experiencing anything other than a sense of peace or happiness and delight, look, I'm alive, hey, I'm back, this is wonderful. If you're experiencing something less than that, pause for a moment. Pay attention to the thought that's connected to that feeling and just look at it. Don't judge yourself. Just look at it, take a breath, and you might discover that that harder, more negative thought will just dissolve.
And the more you look, the more you are free. Beloved ones, it's your choice. Planetary thought body, universal thought body. Until we have the gift of being with you again, may your heart know that all is truly well.
Namaste.
Namaste. Yes, we are at the time of energetic upheaval in preparation for what many are calling the quantum leap of 2012. The fifth dimension is here now. I am Angelic Oracle Kira Ra, and as a full trance channel, I have often been compared to Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet. Together with my husband, wisdom teacher Sri Ramka, our mission is to bring pure angelic guidance to those who are ready to step into the powerful energy of this time in history. Our teachings, lessons, and weekend intensives will assist you to stabilize your path of upliftment and bring divine, abundant clarity to every moment. Learn more at selfascension.com or call 505-286-9267. Write that down, selfascension.com or 505-286-9267. Know the love that you are.
Thank you for joining us today for 2012 Higher Love. Remember that you can find out more about Sri and Kira by going to shriandkira.com. That's SRIANDKIRA.com. You can also find their website.